Success Insight shares the stories of the people with passion and drive who make things happen in the world. Here's your host, Howard Fox.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Career Focus series on the Success Insight podcast. The Career Focus series supports individuals who are pursuing careers that tap into their skills and passions and introduces you to the entrepreneurs and organizations that are helping to make that dream a reality. Our guest today is Dr. Horacio Sanchez. Dr. Sanchez is a Lean Six Sigma Black Belt, a supply chain specialist, an architect, author, researcher, and coach. Horacio has authored a number of books, including Supply Chain in the Engineering, Procurement, and Construction Industry, Architecture for Kids 2, and most recently, Architecture for Kids 3, Color and Architecture. Now, I met Horacio after we published a Career Focus episode with Dave Alexander this past October, and we're going to provide a link back to that. But what I really thought would be interesting is Horacio had reached out to me and just kind of talked a little bit about some of the challenges folks in a highly technical space face. And I thought, wow, this is a great opportunity not only to kind of extend, a couple of degrees of separation from my episode with Dave Alexander, but also to learn more about Horacio's work and really to get some feedback from him about what he sees needs to happen in, the industry that he's in, especially, because of the churn and the change in our careers and the impact, especially with COVID this past year. So, Dr. Sanchez, welcome to the Career Focus series on the Success Insight podcast.
Hey, Howard, thank you for the invitation. I really appreciate that and the opportunity to talk to you about this very important topic. I think you cannot transition to other industries or reach your goals if you don't keep a good plan for it, and also understanding the importance of learning new things every day.
Oh, that is so true. And before we kind of deep dive into some of your thoughts and insights, recommendations, would you share in a little bit more detail, because I'm sure, touched the surface, share a little bit about your background, and especially I'm interested in these books that you wrote specifically for kids on architecture. So let's spend just a few minutes to chat about that, and then we'll kind of deep dive into the career focus area.
Well, I am an architect. I got my bachelor's in architecture, and then how things change in your life, or you receive new opportunities, or things are aligned differently. So just when I finished when I got my architecture bachelor's, I received the opportunity to work in supply chain and procurement. And from that day, that was 23 years ago, from that day I had the opportunity to work for different companies and different industries around the world, different projects. And with a progressive career, I started in the lower level expediting, and then as a buyer, and then now in management positions, project procurement manager positions, or strategic sourcing manager positions. So that's the reason why I have books in supply chain and also books in architecture.
Very good. Now, for our listeners' benefit and definitely mine, can you share just a little bit about what is supply chain?
Supply chain is what you see every day. When you go to a store to buy things, to a grocery store, if you go to all the things that you see there in the store, are all those products have some background in it. So someone dedicated in supply chain is a person who bought those, who reach suppliers and manufacturers around the world to buy all those products and put those products in your grocery store or in your table. So supply chain is a process of buying or gathering products or raw materials in order to produce more products or to distribute the products around the world.
Thank you for that definition of supply chain and how it affects us. And I can certainly see, especially this past year, how, not only COVID-19, but just the sensitivity of the supply chain. And it either results in products that are not on our shelves, or if we do place an order, it takes a while to get to us. And then also, the sensitivity to, an issue like COVID-19, the pandemic, is individuals are experts in supply chain, but now suddenly find themselves displaced. And that, for example, is where our mutual friend Dave Alexander came in. So I'm curious, given your perspective, I mean, you were down on the ground floor and you rose up through the ranks, more education, training, expertise. What are the challenges that you see in the space for individuals who, whether they're coming into this industry of supply chain, maybe they're in it, perhaps supervisory, low to mid-level management, higher level. It seems like at all places along that continuum, there is a need for ongoing education, training, credentialing to really navigate successfully when an event like a layoff occurs. And I would love to, if we could spend some time around that topic.
Howard, it's very important to understand something. You need to be prepared for the unexpected, always, especially right now. It's very, very important to always be prepared for the unexpected. It doesn't matter if you have 15 or 20 years working in your company, because at some point, life is going to change that. Life is going to change your security zone or your status quo. And you need to be prepared for that. And what I'm seeing with ex-co-workers and friends that because of the COVID thing, the pandemic, they lost their jobs after 15 years working in an organization is that they're trying to find a new job. And when they see the job descriptions, when they have interviews, now they're facing reality that they don't have the skills that companies need now. Companies now are looking for individuals that add value and bring innovation. For example, the CEO of LinkedIn just said recently that they're looking for individuals with an infinite learning curve and they're constantly learning and quickly. So we are in a different momentum right now. We're in a phase of our lives where companies are looking to deliver better. And this market competition are making them to look for individuals who can deliver that, who can jump into the action, that have the skills that the company requires in order to meet their objectives that are changing in a daily basis.
If companies are looking for individuals to jump in and to make a difference day one, how does someone at the onset prepare for that and understand this trajectory that they need to go on in order to stay relevant, in the event that an event occurs and they're unexpectedly displaced? How does that individual at the early onset of their career prepare for that then?
Well, it's very important that one of the things that because I also provide coaching and mentoring services to individuals. And one of the things that I always said is that you need to look outside the walls of your organization or outside your horizon. You need to see what others are doing, what other companies in your same industry or probably other industries are doing. What kind of software they're using, what kind of product practices or procedures they're using. I also recommend talk to your co-workers in other positions, in other disciplines, to see what are they doing to learn new things or new skills. Talk to your friends or family members that work for other companies. What are they doing in terms of innovation? What they're doing in terms of not just internal training. I think the problem I see in organizations right now is that the training they provide to their employees is not always the best. It's really focused on what the company needs internally, but nothing externally. And that's a responsibility of a professional to look outside in the world, to see what is happening. And for example, as a supply chain professional, it is a responsibility to see right now what is happening with logistics around the world. Why outside California in Long Beach, there are more than 100 ships waiting to be unloaded? What is happening? So you need to have that curiosity and start asking why. I also recommend to have in each conversation with someone to add the component of why things are happening, why the chemical industry is so successful right now, why the pharmaceutical industry is so successful right now. What are they doing different that I'm not doing on a personal level or my company is not doing? So you need to start gaining that momentum and that interest of knowing what is happening outside, outside your box, outside your view. And that's the way to learn right now.
When an individual is in school and they're getting a degree in engineering, procurement, supply chain, business, is that sufficient in your mind to get them started? Or is that just literally the one of the barriers to entry? And then once they're in the organization, it's up to that individual and the organization, I would imagine, to continue to look outside the organization, ask those why questions, because my sense is the education they're getting in the university, in the college, the community college, four-year university, may not be enough, that the organizations want something much more specific. What are your thoughts there?
No, it's not. It's not enough. You need to continue with the learning process. It's not. I also said never stay or never stop with what you know. You need to learn new things every day. And right now, there is no excuse. You have hundreds and hundreds of in the internet, and you can find a lot of resources, a lot of things that you can learn there. And some of them are free, some of them are you need to pay for them, for certifications or for master's degrees or whatever your goal is. But you need to continue with that learning process. And of course, each company is different. You need to learn their ways of doing things, their systems, their practices, their procedures. But I think it's also very important to build the skill of flexibility and adaptability. As I said in the beginning, I have experience working for different companies, and that interest of knowing what other companies are doing, that interest in seeing what's happening outside of my world, helped me to adapt faster to the conditions of each company and to the requirements of each company. Yeah, there is an onboarding phase. There is an onboarding time that, of course, everybody needs to pass, and everybody needs to learn the things and new good things or bad things or how they operate. But at the end, all the skills that you are building during your career by learning new things and by adding more knowledge to your expertise and experience is going to help you to do things better.
It sounds like, Horacio, that one of the learnings that students have to have early on, and it has to continue into the entry-level job and working your way up the ladder, is this mindset that just because I have my degree now and I just got a job, that is enough. There has to be a mindset change that this is just literally the beginning. And as you had said early on, in order to navigate this uncertainty, we have to become lifelong learners.
Oh yeah, that's a key component right now. Right now, there's no option. When I finished my master's degree in 2005, I knew that I had to learn new things. So I went for my doctorate degree and to learn all the things with other certifications. Not because you have a master's that you learned 10 years ago means that you know what's going on right now. You need to update your skills. And one word that I like to use is evolution. All things in life evolve. And you need to do that and add that component of evolution to your goals, to your career goals, to your professional goals. And to understand that, as I said, you need to be prepared for the unexpected. You need to be prepared for, okay, what happens if I lose my job right now after 16 years in this company? I'm gonna go out in the market, and then what? What happens if the other companies are not using the same software that I'm using right now? So I need to learn how that software works, so I can be better prepared if I receive a new opportunity, or what kind of practices they use, or what kind of suppliers they have. So that's very important, because if not, you're going to suffer, and you're going to suffer a lot. But as I said, right now you have LinkedIn, for example, that is a great source of information, that you can go there and see the job postings, that you can go there and see companies and follow companies and receive daily emails or notices or news about the companies or what they're doing. So there is no excuse right now. If you want to really move and be prepared, you need to add that component of continuous learning on your life.
You know, Horatio, I am really glad you brought up LinkedIn. Now, you know, you and I met via LinkedIn. You sent me a message, and then here we are. But I love the fact that you shared on LinkedIn. You can research individuals, companies, skill sets, and you can follow those individuals. You can follow those companies. You can search for, in the job posting, not necessarily look for a job, but what is that company looking for? And the other thing it dawns on me too is, if I am going to be a lifelong learner, I need to find reputable places to get training that is going to keep me current, and it's going to help me continue to grow. And I love the fact, as a premium, and I'm not advocating people go out and invest in LinkedIn, but there is a relatively low cost investment to get access to LinkedIn Learning or other platforms like that, Udemy, Coursera, where you, without spending thousands of dollars, but you can go and get training. And some of those trainings, at least on LinkedIn, you get a certification after it, which is a way to show that you are staying, you know, in the game as far as continuing to learn and develop yourself.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's also, for example, LinkedIn, a lot of the certifications and training that they have there are free. Yeah, you don't need to pay for anything. So there are a lot of opportunities to learn. There are a lot of options to learn in different platforms, in different social media, and you need to take that opportunity right now. You have there is a lot of free stuff there that it's very good. Depending, it doesn't matter the industry that you are in. It doesn't matter what you do. There's a lot of good things that you can use and apply in your job, or for the future. Be prepared for the future. It's this process of unlearn, learn, and relearn stuff all the time. You know, updating your skills. Probably you have something that you're not using anymore, or you think that you don't need anymore. That's okay. On learning, it's good, but keep that learning momentum going. Relearn stuff. For example, if you learn how to use spreadsheets 15 years ago, right now it's very different. It's not the same. Right now you have a lot of formulas and pivot tables and things that you can do for companies. For companies, for example, right now, data analysis is key. It's a key component of the decisions that they make on a daily basis. So if you add that component of how to identify data and how to use that data in the benefit of the company, or in the benefit of making better decisions and save money, save time, you're going to add value to the organization, and you're going to move up. And as I said, that's what the companies are looking right now. Individuals that can add value and bring benefits to the company, because other automated processes, they already have a software that can do that, so they are not going to need you. So what do you bring to the table? Something new. They need to see that you are interested always in finding better solutions and finding better strategies.
How does that new mindset show up when you're working with one of your coaching clients, and maybe you're helping them with their resume or LinkedIn profile, or perhaps you work with them on storytelling, the situation they faced and the action they took, the results. How are you, as the coach, Dr. Horacio Sanchez, helping your clients communicate that in those marketing documents, the resume, the LinkedIn profile?
Well, they need what I always said is that they need to show that they're keeping this, they're building this learning momentum by adding certifications, by adding, probably it's too late for them to go to a master's degree, to a 3-year master's degree, or even a doctorate that it's normally a 4 or 5 years. But they can add to their curriculum, to their resume, certifications and training that they can relate it to their job, to relate it to their work, to relate it to the things they do, to again bring value to the company and bring solutions to the companies. There is no, as I always said, it's years ago, learning was an option, or learning was a choice. Right now, I always say that learning is a responsibility because of the kind of things that we are seeing now, and how the organizations are moving right now. More organizations are moving fast right now. Their daily is a fast component added to the processes. They're looking for more. They're looking for better. They're looking for to meet clients and market expectations. And for that, you need to be prepared. You cannot use 20 years old formulas or ways of doing things, or what you learned 20 years ago, or the way you learned it 20 years ago, because right now everything is fast paced and everything needs to be on time, and bring better solutions and bring better strategies and develop ways to make things better and faster.
Now, I don't mean to put you on the spot. Well, perhaps I do mean to put you on the spot. Besides yourself, obviously, and following you on LinkedIn and doing some searches and looking for organizations to follow, people to connect with, are there individuals or resources, perhaps just because that would be considered, let's just say, thought leaders or forward thinkers about what's happening, or what should we be looking at today for something that's going to take place 2, 3, 5 years down the line? Are there any individuals like that who are prolific, say YouTube, a blog, maybe TED Talks, that you would recommend to individuals to further cement this idea that they're going to be lifelong learners and need to be aware of what's happening out in the marketplace?
Oh yeah. It's especially when you build your network and you use LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn on a daily basis to build my network and to follow people that I really admire. But for example, Simon Sinek is one of the guys that I follow. He's a great guy, and he wrote a lot of books, and he's focused on understanding why things happen and how things need to happen, and always deliver better, and always continue with this process of evolution and learning processes. And one of the things that I like about him is that he's always providing ways to understand the importance of learning, the importance of evolving and communicating better in a very easy way, so you can understand perfectly what he's saying. And it depends on your industry, depends on your goals, but there is a lot of people that you can follow. If you are an entrepreneur, Kim Kope, she's in LinkedIn too. She has a weekly podcast and a program in LinkedIn too, and she talks with other entrepreneurs about how they started, how they meet their goals, the good times and also the bad times when they failed, and how they recovered. So there is a lot of information and a lot of people that you can follow depending on where do you want to go, and what do you want to listen, and what kind of support do you need. Each individual and each organization is different. It's part of what I do. I like to analyze organizations. It's part of the consulting services that I do, to identify ways to make things better and enhance performance and efficiencies. but there's a lot of people that you can follow and add all that component of value to your work and to your personal life.
Fantastic. Well, we appreciate those recommendations. And for our listeners, we'll provide backlinks, for example, to Simon Sinek. And the second resource, Kim, how did you spell her last name?
Kaupe. Kaupe.
Kaupe. Fantastic. Well, we will provide backlinks to resources that are originating from her as well. So I'm curious, and by the way, your message is spot on in a lot of the coaching, the career coaching that I do. The train has left town for a lot of folks because they got the job. This is what I did for the last 20 years, and now I'm out of a job and I don't know what to do. And I see that, and it's hard, and you feel bad, but we hope that they can begin to pick up some of those pieces and find, what their new self is going to be and what they're going to be doing. But the message is spot on, is we have to invest in ourselves. And I think it's got to start very early with this mindset, because change is just happening so quickly now. And if we're not careful, we're going to be, left behind, and that's not going to be good either. And I'm curious for yourself. I mean, you are a lifelong learner. You have no doubt you are practicing what you are preaching. Where are some of the areas that you are continuing to evolve in your own work and the impact that you want to make?
Well, things related to for example, in supply chain, I'm learning, or I'm writing a new book about supply chain for the containers at sea, and because there are a lot of situations where millions of dollars are lost at sea because the containers go down to the bottom of the ocean.
Right.
And they also contaminate. So I'm writing a book, a case study about that. New software, for example, for data analysis is something that I'm learning right now. Certifications. So I'm constantly learning that. I'm still developing my skills as an author and as a publisher and as a writer, because I'm doing more books, not just for supply chain, as I said, but also for architecture for kids, because in my case, it's not just about learning. It's about sharing my expertise and my skills and my experience with others. I enjoy when I go to schools, for example, to talk about my books about architecture for kids, and I donate some of my books to the schools or to kids in Africa, because I want them to learn something, to learn about architecture. But also, I always put in my book that never stop learning new things. Never quit about your dreams. Never quit about what you want to do in life. And I remember something that my grandfather told me when I was probably 12 or 13 years old. He said to me, "How do you want to be remembered?" And that's my fuel. That's what pushed me to write books and to learn new things and to share those things with people. It's I want to leave something behind. I want to leave a legacy. And I see reviews of my books from people in Australia or in the United Kingdom that their grandchild or their kid enjoy one of my books, and it's just amazing. That kind of things make my day, because I transform the life of one person around the world. So just imagine how you feel about that.
That is fantastic. Thank you. And, I'm reminded as I'm hearing you chat about the books, Architecture for Kids, is we did a podcast episode. God, it was way back, Horacio, and I think it was 2019, with a gentleman named Dan Pegram. He's a former military pilot. He was a pilot for Southwest Airlines, and he wrote a book. It was called Pop Pop Airplane. Essentially, for children, but how does an airplane fly? Which that's architecture, that's wind dynamics and the like. And so just, to get an airplane up in the air, or to build a building that is going to meet the needs, in 2021 onward. And so just, I can imagine the impact books like these have on kids. So thank you for that. Before we head out, If our listeners, Horacio, would like to learn more about you and your work, where are the best places you would like them to go?
They can contact me through LinkedIn. I'm always available there. They can send me a message. I have also my phone there. If they want to send me a text or something. Okay. But also I have a website for the Architecture for Books book series. It's architectureforkids.net.
Very good. Well, we will provide the backlinks to your LinkedIn profile and to your website for the books, architectureforkids.net. Before we head out, any last thoughts, insights that you would like to share? I mean, your topic is with us today is so totally spot on, and you've given a lot of your insight, but any last minute pearls of wisdom that you'd like to share?
No, as I said, keep the learning momentum going. Keep that interest of knowing why things happen. What if we do this, or what if we do that? In all my strategies, when I'm working on a strategy or a plan, I have three main components. The first one is what is the goal of that? The second component is what do I need to meet that goal? And the third one, and this is very important, and normally a lot of people fail on this one, and organizations fail, is how I'm going to do that. So once you have clear all these three components and you add them to your processes and on the things you want to do in life, you want to build these learning momentums, and you're going to open a learning dialogue with yourself and with others, and enhance your career and your personal life too.
Very good. Very good. Well, Horacio, it has been a pleasure to have you on the Career Focus series on the Success Insight podcast. And I appreciate that you reached out after we published our episode with Dave Alexander. And thank you for the connection. And again, I think this topic is spot on. It's necessary. And I'm really grateful that you are here to share it with our audience. Thank you.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to talk to you and your audience. And I think it's, it is right now a topic that it's super important. I hope that people understand the importance of and the need of it.
Very good. We'll stay on the line for just a minute. We're going to do a quick close, and then you and I can chat as well again. All right, folks, we have just been chatting with Dr. Horacio Sanchez. He is a Lean Six Sigma Black Belt, a supply chain specialist, an architect, an author of 4 books, 1 on supply chain, 3 on architecture for kids. And he's a researcher, a coach, and really just a very timely conversation today about change and how individuals who are, whether you're coming out in high school, coming out of high school, into college, exiting college into your first job, and going out into your career, that this is not a one and done journey, folks. This is about committing yourself to ongoing development and learning. And yeah, you might go back and get an advanced degree at a university, but there are opportunities, resources that are available to you. You know, just do Google searches, go on LinkedIn. If you don't have a LinkedIn profile, you need one. And you can reach out to me. I'm sure you reach out to Dr. Sanchez as well. He can help you build a LinkedIn profile and teach you how to use LinkedIn so that you are not caught behind the curve. This past year has decimated our workforce because people were let go because of COVID. And many of them struggled to find that next opportunity. And one of the telltale signs was they didn't commit to their ongoing learning. So that duration of the unemployment was a lot longer than it needed to be. And if they really had pursued, as Dr. Sanchez is advocating, is just a philosophy of ongoing professional development, asking the questions, why do we do things this way? What are other people doing? And going off and doing that research. So at the end of the day, your future depends on your ongoing development. And that's not only the professional skills, the technical side, the knowledge side, but also your soft skills. If it means getting up and speaking to an audience, you need to do that as well. All right, folks, if you enjoyed today's episode, do visit us on the Career Focus series on the Success Insight podcast. You can find us on our Facebook and LinkedIn pages, Success Insight Podcast, our website, successinsightpodcast.com, as well as the podcasting platforms, Amazon Music, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Audible, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and especially Spotify, where we have the Career Focus playlist. Okay, folks, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, go out there, have a phenomenal day, and we will see you on a future episode of the Career Focus series on the Success Insight podcast. Take care now.
Success Insight is a production of Fox Coaching and First Story Strategies. Find us online, successinsightpodcast.com.